Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Stappystamper. My name is Terry Stapp, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Central Texas. If you have been following along, we have been making several cards using the Autumn Toile Designer Series paper from this September to December 25 mini catalog. This is going to be our last card in the series. This is card number 4. So if you haven't watched 1, 2, or 3, go back and check those out as well. However, don't fret. After this video next week, I will have another series of cards starting. And we will keep going with a new series. It's going to be great. All right, let me show you what materials we're going to be using today. This is the Autumn Toile Suite Collection. I'm on page 40 of the catalog. Now, I did not get, it does come with 2 stamp sets and 2 die sets. I did not get either of those. I used the pumpkin sets that I already have, and I used the Lovely as a Tree set that I already have. The set does come with the metallic foil paper, specialty paper. We're not using that on today's card, but we did use it on card number 2 and card number 3, if you want to see what that looks like. We are going to use these streaked dots. They're beautiful. I wish they showed up on camera as well as as beautiful as they do in person. The suite comes with the irregular trim. I did not put that on the card that we're going to be making today, but I did use it on some of the previous cards, so you can check that out as well. Now here is the paper, the DSP in the Autumn Toile series. So each paper is front and back. This is, we used this in card number 1. We used this side. In card number 2, we came over here, we used the Mossy Meadow. And I used this side. This is the back side. We used this Toile side. For card number 3, we made a double Dutch fold card, and I did not use side A, we used the stripes. And then today our card is going to use both. This is the front with the pumpkin patch, and then there's a real pretty gray granite on the back, and we're actually going to be using both sides of the paper today. It's a really cool fun fold. So let me show you what that card looks like. All right, here is our card that we're going to be making today. We have our image, a simple greeting, hello pumpkin. We have our dots right here. We're going to open it up, and we have some beautiful designer series paper on the inside. We have our sentiment, if friends were pumpkins, I'd pick you. And then another little image there. And that's our card. Isn't that a really cool card? I just love it. And I love this paper. This is my favorite card. All right, let's make it now. So the materials that you're going to need, I'm going to show you the materials. And then I'm going to put up a slide that has the materials list. So if you want to stamp along with me, when you see the slide, go ahead and pause the video, gather your materials, then push play and come back and we can craft along at the same time. If you are local, if you're one of my local friends and you ordered the kit, then this is going to be card number 4 for you. So get the materials out. You already have this. Now remember, I cannot stamp anything for you. So one of the things you do need to gather is a stamp set, a fall stamp set probably. And then I would suggest something with pumpkins because it does have pumpkins on the paper. And so that would look really cute with your card. All right, for your materials, we have a base and it's just single-sided. It is 5.5 by 4 1/4. And then in addition to the base, we have another piece of gray granite that is cut at 4 1/4 by 11. It's scored at 2 inches and 3 3/4 inches at each end. So you take your paper trimmer, you cut your paper to 4 1/4 by 11. Use your scoring blade and you're going to put your paper in and you're going to put it at 2 and score. You're going to move it down to 3 3/4 and score. You're going to flip it around, put that end in at 2, score, and then score again, move it down and score at 3 3/4. Okay, that's gray granite. And then one more piece of gray granite is going to be the mat for our greeting on the front of the card. Now I used my oval dies. This particular oval is the largest oval in my die set, and it measures 3 1/4 by 2 3/8. If you don't have an oval die set, you could use circles, you could do squares, you could do your rectangles. If you don't have dies or a die cut machine, you could simply cut a piece of your base color cardstock at 3 1/4 by 2 3/8, make it a rectangle, and just cut it using your paper trimmer. Now our matte color, we've been using, I think almost all of our cards, maybe 3 out of the 4 of the cards are using Cajun Craze as your matte. So we're going to continue with that. This is Cajun Craze. You have some matte pieces. I have 2 pieces that measure 1 7/8 by 4 1/8. I have 2 matte pieces that measure 7/8 by 4 1/8. And then I have my 1/2 inch strip. This is the piece that's going to go on the message part of the card. It's just a strip. The finished measurement is going to be 1/2 inch by 3 3/8. But right now mine is just a 1/2 inch strip, and I will cut it to size once I put it on the card. For our basic color, we're using Very Vanilla. I have a piece of Very Vanilla that is 3 3/8 by 4 1/8. This is the one that you're going to want to stamp with your sentiment. So I have, if friends were pumpkins, I'd pick you. And then I have a little pumpkin down here on the corner. So you're going to want to add something to that. And then in addition to that piece of Very Vanilla, you're going to need another piece. This is my second largest oval. So if you're using a different die, like you used squares and used one size of your square, then just use the next one down. Or same with rectangles, same with circles. Just use the next size smaller from what you used. If you cut your paper, that oval, you didn't have your die cut machine, or you don't have any dies like this, and you just used your paper trimmer, then do the same thing. You're going to cut a piece of paper, piece of base color, and then cut your rectangle using your Very Vanilla. Okay. All right, DSP, Designer Series paper. We're going to have 2 pieces. I'm going to pull out these 2 pieces right here. And I don't want you, if you have the kit, I don't want you to get confused. So we have 2 pieces. Now these are the front side, the side A, and they're the pumpkins. Okay. 2 pieces 4 by 1 3/4. Okay. If you have the kit, there's also 2 pieces of the gray that's the opposite side, side B of that pumpkin paper. They are 4 1/8 by 1 5/8, and there's 2 of them. I don't want you to get these confused because, you know, if they got in, you might be, oh, this is the gray and this is the pumpkin, but it's not. So how you can tell, if you just kind of line them up together, the pumpkin pieces are going to be a little bit shorter. Can you see the gray sticking up over here? And a little bit wider than the gray pieces. Okay, so line up those papers, choose the ones that are shorter and wider. Those are the ones you're going to use the pumpkin side. The ones that are taller and thinner, you're going to use the gray side. Okay. Now, if you're cutting your paper, these are directional pieces. So if you're cutting 4 by 1 3/4, you want the directionality. You want it to be 4 inches tall. So if you cut your paper 4 inches like this, then your picture is going to be not upside down. It's going to be sideways. Okay, so pay attention to that. When you're cutting your paper 4 by 1 3/4, you want them to be 4 inches tall. In addition to that, you're going to have 2 more strips of paper that are 3/4 by 4. And once again, they're directional. That 4 inches tall and 3/4 of an inch wide. Okay, 2 of those. And then you have your 3/8 inch strip for the inside of the card. It's going to get matted on top of that piece, that 1/2 inch piece of Cajun Craze. But once again, I'll cut it to size once I get it put on the card. Now, in addition to that, you're going to want some sort of image to put on your card. I have some pumpkins that I stamped in Memento. I colored using the watercolor pencils and the Stamp and Blend markers. And then I have a sentiment that says, "Hello, Pumpkin." I stamped that, used a punch to cut it out, and then we're going to use the mini dimensionals on the back of that piece. Okay, y'all don't let me forget to add the streaked dots embellishments at the end. I did that on one of my cards and had to add a little something post video to add those back in. So don't let me forget to put those on my card as well. And we're going to put this right here so that we can see what we're doing. Okay, I'm going to put up that slide. If you're stamping along with me, go ahead and once you see this next slide put up, push pause, gather your materials. If you have the kit, if you're local and you got one of the kits, make sure you have your materials, and then you're going to need to do something with your sentiment and your image. I did include a piece of scrap, very vanilla, that you can stamp on and cut out to add to the front of your card. All right, go ahead and gather your materials, and I will see you back in just a few minutes. All right, friends, welcome back. Let's go ahead and get started making our card. Pull your base that is 5.5 by 4 1/4 and pull this piece of 4 1/4 by 11 that you scored at 2 inches and 3 3/4 at each end. Now, it is scored, but I still want to use my bone folder to give it a crease. I'm going to fold on the 3 3/4. I'm going to fold it in and burnish that. And then on my 2 inches, I'm going to fold that out. Okay, same on the other side. Here's my score line for 3 3/4. I want to fold that over, fold it in, and then here's my 2-inch line, and I'm going to fold that out. Okay, this is going to be what makes our card base. Now, when I made this card, let me back up. What we're going to end up doing is placing this on this, and we're going to glue it together. Then you have these little pieces on the sides where we're going to use some of our designer series paper and a mat. When I did this, I did this part first where I glued these together, and then this part was crooked. So what I want to do instead is I have my piece ready to go. I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to pull my designer series paper. I'm going to pull my 2 strips that are 3/4 by 4. Okay. And then I'm going to pull the mats for those pieces. I have 2 pieces that are 7/8 by 4 1/8. So I'm going to go ahead and put these together and put those on the card so that I can make sure that I have them spaced the way that I want them to be spaced. And then we'll glue down that other piece. All right, so here goes this. It's getting matted on one of the pieces of Cajun Craze. And then this is going to go right over here. Okay. Making sure everything was straight. Okay, so this is going to be placed right here. I'm going to leave a little bit of a border, a 1/16 of an inch border. Okay, so then that's placed. Now let me do this one. Make sure that you're gluing it the right way. If you have paper that has a direction to it, don't glue it upside down. Okay, and then this is going to go on the other side. Just like that. Okay, now I have this spaced properly. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to glue it right in between. I think that'll work better. Okay, I'm switching glues. I'm going to switch over to my green Tombow glue. So I have a little bit of wiggle room in case I mess up. I'm just going to put some glue on the back of that. And then I'm going to place this right in between the 2 pieces. It'll have a border on the left and the right side, but the top and bottom should be flush with the with that 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 piece. Okay, so you can see here. Move this down a little bit, see if that'll help. So there's a little bit of a border here and here, but the top and the bottom meet up with the top and the bottom of that 5 1/4, 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 piece. Okay. Okay. So that's our base card. That's it. That's pretty easy. We're ready to do some decorating with the other pieces here. So let me start in the middle. Go ahead and pull your sentiment piece. That's the piece of Very Vanilla. That is 3 3/8 by 4 1/8. You stamped it with a sentiment. You put some picture. You put something on it. And then I'm going to pull that little strip, that 3/8 strip, and that 1/2 inch strip. And we're going to put those two pieces together. Okay. Right there. And right there. Okay. And that's going to go, see, I almost put it upside down. And that's going to go right here. I want mine to be right under here, so I have a little bit of room to write here at the bottom. I'm going to use my grids to line that up. I'm going to run some glue across. And then I'm going to place it right about there. Okay, I have it placed. So now I can trim off the ends. I got a little bit of glue that stuck out. Just wipe it off. If you used green glue, the green Tombow for that, it might be a little bit sticky, so just be careful if it smooshes out on how you clean that up. If you use your hands, you might end up with sticky hands for the rest of the video. All right, there's not a mat for this piece. It's just going to be put right down here. So I'm getting my adhesive right here. And that's going to be centered right here in this middle place. I'm checking side to side, top to bottom, and I want it straight with as even of a border as I can get. Okay, now we're going to do the gray pieces. So I already talked to you about how to determine, since we're using the front DSP and the back DSP, we talked about how to determine which one is for the ones that get matted and which side is for the ones that don't. So your gray pieces are not going to be matted. They are the taller and thinner pieces when compared to the pumpkin. Okay, so I'm going to put this. You can see that it's taller. And then when I line it up with the pumpkin, you can see the pumpkin part sticking out. You want your gray pieces, not your pumpkin pieces. That's what we're going to do next. I'm going to put adhesive on the back of this. And it's going to go right here in this next panel over. Same thing with this one. I'm going to add some adhesive to the back. And I'm going to add it to the panel on this side. There should be a border around all the sides. Try to get it as straight as you can. Okay. Now these two pieces are where your pumpkins are going to go. So go ahead and pull your pumpkin pieces and the Cajun Craze mats. So you have two pieces of Cajun Craze that are 1 7/8 by 4 1/8. So we're going to mat these two. And then they're going to go right here on those outside panels. So let's do that real quick. Let's add some adhesive here and here. Put that together with this. Leave that border. Let's add some adhesive here and here. And then watch your directionality. You want your picture to be up the right way. I'm actually going to turn mine around. So that's upside down. This is going to be upside down. I am right-handed, and it is easier for me to get a nice straight line here on the right if I turn my work upside down. Okay, right side back. I'm going to move this out, and then I'm going to adhere these two together and do the same thing on the other side. Adhesive. Adhere. Adhesive. And adhere. Make sure that the picture is the right side up. I don't like that one. It's better. Okay, there is our card. Our panels close like that. So you can see the two pieces here. We open it up. We have our message on the inside. We have our gray pieces. We have our outside panels. Now we're going to do our greeting on the front. So you're going to need your oval and then the smaller oval. Once again, if you did not use the ovals and you used squares or rectangles or circles, whatever you used, pull those. Even if you had to cut your own, that's fine. I'm going to add adhesive to the back. Leave a mat like that. Now this is going to go right here, and only glue it on one side. If you put glue on the whole thing, then you're going to glue your card together. Okay, so put glue on one side. Do you want it to be where the oval pulls this way? Or do you want it to be where the oval pulls this way? It doesn't matter which side you choose, you just can't choose both. Okay, so I'm going to use my handy dandy measuring tool, and I'm going to reach under till I hit that side, and I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to put adhesive there, not past my fingers. I'm going to flip it back down, and I'm going to put my oval, want it a little bit lower. Once again, centering top to bottom, left to right. Okay, our image is going to go on the front, so probably some sort of pumpkin. I kind of want that centered. And I can put adhesive. I don't want to put adhesive, like this sticks out just a little bit. Like if I didn't want to, I wouldn't want to put adhesive right here, because then it might stick to that other side. But it's pretty close. Mine is pretty close. I'm just gonna put adhesive all over the back and just stay away from that one corner. Okay, that's going to get glued down. Just like that. These pumpkins aren't in line, so I'm going to use this one kind of as my base and try to kind of make that level with the bottom of my card there. Now I have my greeting. It says, "Hello, Pumpkin." I found this in the September 2024 paper pumpkin. So if you are a paper pumpkin customer, you might check through your paper pumpkin stamps from previous Septembers. Usually September, there'll be some sort of fall theme that comes out in September. So check those out and see if you can find one, or you may have a different greeting in mind. I'm going to peel off the backings. I am using dimensionals on this one. These are the mini dimensionals since my sentiment is pretty skinny. The regular size dimensionals would stick out beyond the paper. And I'm just going to kind of put this across. I don't really want it to cover up that high. I'm going to put it right. Ha-ha. I'm going to stick it over to the right a little bit more rather than center, but I do want it to be lined up with the bottom of my card. Hello, pumpkin. Looks lovely. And thank you for not letting me forget my streaked dots. I'm going to pull out that, and I'm going to use a large one. I'm just going to put it right here. And I'm going to use a small one and put it right here. And I'm going to use another small one. And I'm going to put it right down here. Okay. Easy peasy card to put together. Cut your pieces and then just put them together. Looks like this. Hello, pumpkin. Open it up. You have your room for your message, and your recipient is going to be amazed at how talented you are and all the things that you can do with just a little bit of paper and a little bit of glue and a little bit of creativity. All right, friends, go back and watch Autumn Toile cards 1, 2, and 3. This is card 4. And then be prepared next week. Let's see, next week is going to be the 17th. So Wednesday, the 17th. I think I'm going to move my publish time to noon rather than 6 o'clock. So look for my video then. And we're going to start a new series using some more amazing Stampin' Up! Products. Until then, happy stamping!